Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is December 20th, 2023, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the US markets explode once again to new all-time record highs. Not 2023 all-time record highs, but first looking at today's major economic events. So at 5 p.m. South African time out of the United States, consumer confidence number coming out. That may propel the markets even higher. But first, looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols. The Japanese yen faltered yesterday from breaking out any higher, and it continues its downwards trend. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ hit higher at all-time record highs. And as we look at commodities, gold and oil both gained yesterday. And looking at the stock this time, it's Tesla that's breaking higher. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin creating a wedge formation that may break out. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go with the Japanese yen, and it's still not breaking out higher. It did get that bounce, but it faltered. And that means it may still break down. Okay, we're still holding in that trend line. And you could look at the red line, which is an 8-day moving average. It's still respecting it. Now, if it does break above it and hold above it, then that would be a different story. But for right now, it's still in a downwards trend, and it failed to push up higher. Now, looking at the Australian dollar, which we haven't covered in quite a while, but might be something to look at, because look at it. It is getting much weaker. There we go. That's the Australian dollar. Okay, getting to 67.69. Now, we have a weakness of 68.70, which is about 100 pips away, and you can see that we are closing in on it. Okay, now we are continuously going higher, meaning getting weaker versus the dollar, as you can see, to 67.69. But this is a decent enough tear. It's a decent enough velocity and time movement that it can continue going. Now, looking at the commodities, okay, gold bouncing back to 2042. Not a big deal. It's a very choppy market. Now, if you want to be trading something, focus on the U.S. markets. That's trending. Where this is really choppy, you got to really time yourself very, very, very precisely. Now, looking at crude oil, also gaining. Now, a couple of things about it. It's hitting the 30-day moving average, which is a resistance-ish area right now. And this has been, $74 has been a point of contention before, where it's resistance-ish area. So I wouldn't bank that it's going to break out any higher. So keep this in mind as this still unfolds later this week. And so, you know, it's mostly news-driven with what's happening in the Middle East. And so this is the type of environment where it gets choppy and then, you know, it kind of falters right afterwards. So keep an eye on it, because this may still develop. Now, jumping into the U.S. markets, all-time record highs. We're looking at the Dow Jones, 37,937 points. Okay, looking at a monthly chart, whoa, boy, almost 200 points above where we were at 36,600 almost a year and a half ago. And this is really very, very important, because this means that we've made a massive recovery in the U.S. markets. And this is really on the anticipation that Fed Chairman Powell will be decreasing interest rates going into 2024 first quarter. So this is the hopefulness of the markets. Now, there could be a correction that's going to come. Yes. And it's all good. That's part of the way the markets operate. Okay. So this is really just hope, okay? It's not really, all the markets are doing fantastic and we're doing all great. No, and take in consideration that we did have inflation, so the market's going to be heating up even more. So consider that, okay? Markets are still really on the upside tear. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, same story, 17,000. This was the big number I kept on mentioning, and sure enough, we hit it. Now, which stocks are going higher? Number one, Amazon, 153, consumer kind of product, okay? And we have a consumer confidence number coming out, so this is really very important. Now, looking at the other stock, Tesla was also pretty strong at 256. Now, the other one that is taking home the cake is JP Morgan. JP Morgan is about $4 away from its all-time record highs. And if this does push above it, then this shows us that we are seeing the markets getting stronger. Now, the future markets are going ahead of the stocks, which means that we're anticipation that the markets will grow into 2024 first or second quarter is what they're banking on, and the stocks are not there yet. So just keep that in mind. Now, lastly, okay, as we look at Tesla, did break out higher, and this I want to make a point of. Tesla is in the stages of producing a less expensive car, about $25,000, and if that does catch up to the market, that will be a game changer. And the reason that's a game changer is because up until now, Teslas have been, upper middle market, okay? And if they're able to hit that lower market and they produce that same type of service, that could be a big game changer in the markets. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, this is getting into what we call a wedge formation. Now, it is more of a right wedge, okay, which means it's going to go on the upside. So I am hopeful that it's going to go upside, but just be careful, okay? If you do take any kind of position in it, remember, always use stop losses. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.